person famous. Like I think the culture is being like tainted with now. It's more about like the art. I don't really see too much emphasis on the art. At least how I'ma do it and how I've like already done it and how I'm doing it now.
So you think artists like Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole?
Nah, they just like I said, I dropped their names as sort of like the conscious artists. You know, people that like the general public will believe that they have like substance to their music.
You don't?
I don't believe they got substance to their music.
Nice.
Yeah. Nah, they definitely do. I do. I think they got the most. And I throw Logic in there too, Wale. Just like people that's talking about something. So it isn't just a beat. It's not just words that's rhyming with the beat. They also like telling the story. They talking about the issue. And I think that's rare. And, like we need that. And that's definitely like when people hear like my music, they be like, oh, you sound like, you know, such and such. And it be sort of because of the style. It's like that narrative sort of style. And definitely like if it has content, you know, naturally it's gonna sound something. But yeah. I mean, it's tough because it's like I said, those you would consider conscious artists, but again, my goal with like the music stuff is to like, alright, I'm gonna make a song, like I'm focused on this song. I'm making it, you know, for me first. Like when I started like in the 4th grade, like on a project, a creative writing project. And my brother, like we always like into the culture, we listening to music and all this other stuff. So he like, it's a no-brainer, you know, do a rap song. I help you out. So it's like that's really how it started. Just me doing like, you know, just a 1-2 with school and stuff. And it's like, alright, you know, let's do this. You know, and that's why like everything when I do it, it's for me. You know, other people listen to it. I'm gonna put myself out there. So if they listen to it, it's genuinely like I rock it easy. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like traditionally hip hop and rap is a culture of self-expression. That's pretty much most artists pretend to look at rap as therapeutic. I feel like that's like what makes your agenda different. Like what is the type of substance that you are willing to emphasize in your art?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this the other day. Like I was on YouTube watching like, you know, world star like in music videos or whatever. And then I scrolled on Hood Rich Cop with One. I don't know if you hit to him, but he was like impersonating Boosie, right? With what he would want you to believe is drug money. But he flexing it, you know, let me see if you find a 20. It was all 100 or whatever. And he got a gun in his pants, and his name is Hood Rich. So I'm thinking to myself, why, granted, the culture of hip hop, it started, you know what I'm saying, from the Bronx in impoverished neighborhoods. Why does everybody there have to be a product of the hood? Why does everybody gotta be from the hood? Why does every rapper gotta be a gangster? So as I scroll through and I'm going and I'm looking at every rapper and they all talking about the same stuff. Yeah, as far as rap. Like why does every rapper have to tell that story? I feel like if you go one rapper to the next, again right now, they're telling the same story. It's no different. You don't think?
I mean, J. Cole, what?
Like I said, but he's exempt from what we talk about. I think he, like I said, him, Kendrick, Logic, Wale, I even throw Big Crit in there, Killer Mike, those guys, even old school KRS-One, Public Enemy, those are sort of like the...
But all the artists that you just named came from the hood, even though their content don't emphasize it.
Right.
But it comes from a different place because coming from the hood and those impoverished environments creates a level of authenticity for the black community.
Right, which is definitely sort of the things that's probably the engine behind why there's so many rappers from the hood emphasizing the hood. But the hood isn't the only like genuine place that an artist can draw. Like I remember, I can't remember his name, but it was like this Christian rapper, and he had like this song with like his skit or whatever. It was like a skit at the beginning, so he's sitting in church, and the preacher is like listening to people's testimony, the one dude went before him, and he was like, man, I was a drug dealer, man. I was killing people. I was robbing people. I've been to jail. Now I found God, man. You know, it was bad, but you know, he saved me. So then he was like, all right, it was his turn. And he stood up for the church, and he was like, man, I don't really got like no horror story. You know, I just, you know, found God. And that's sort of how the song went. Like, I don't got no horror story. God kept me in my youth. I give him all the glory. You know, the blood of the Lamb saved my soul. That's my testimony. And that's sort of where I'm coming from. And I sort of talked about it in the earlier interview, just as far as like me not being from the hood per se. But I don't really like I'm not from there, so I have a different perspective just on, like, for example, on the music. You know, I can study, you know, the whole art. Like I'm saying, I'm up at school and I'm learning different things that all can be applied to the art without having to live in an impoverished community.
Like what?
Like you said like what? Alright, so just I mean, just keeping music on, keeping a mic in my bag, keeping my laptop, keeping the Pro Tools software on, learning how to use that software. I mean, just being of music, not necessarily the sort of the stereotype that is put on rap, that degrade women, violence, and all the rest. It's less about that. It's less about negativity, and more about the X and O, the bread and butter of the art, which is hip hop. Vocals to the beats, the whole nut. Visuals, everything.
So in order to counteract those topics, about what is the content about?
It's gonna be about me.
And what is the audience?
It's me. I mean, like that's the only audience I got. I mean, if I cast my net out for a larger audience, then it's like it's not gonna be receptive. And that's sort of why I like backed away from like social media, is because the only reason I was on it was for it to be a reliable platform for people to, you know, take in my music.